Since the 2024 NBA playoffs have begun, Luka and Kyrie Irving has been getting so much love from the NBA world, and they deserve it 1000%. I think they've been the best duo to watch in the playoffs all season long. They've gone through the toughest road, so it's been really fun watching these two amazing, talented basketball players tackle these tough obstacles. But as much love as Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic has been getting, I'm really fascinated with everything else about the Dallas Mavericks. I'm fascinated with the job this front office has done going back to the trade deadline of last season. And we all know that's when Kyrie Irving came to the Dallas Mavericks, traded from the Brooklyn Nets to Dallas in the middle of last season. And everything from that point up into the point of the trade deadline to this season, the Dallas Mavericks, their front office, they have done a great job. And we know, like we just said, they started off with Kyrie Irving at the trade deadline last year. We move into the offseason. They bring in Derrick Jones Jr., has been their primary perimeter defender this year, guarding guys like Paul George, guarding Kawhi Leonard when he suited up, guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the second round, and then also guarding Ant-Man in the third round. So Derrick Jones Jr., they used his athleticism, his length to their best ability and made him their primary lockdown defender. And then also in the offseason, they did a great job. I believe they made a trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder on draft night to make Dereck Lively their pick in the draft. Has that been a big time pickup for the Dallas Mavericks? Dereck Lively has had an outstanding, terrific rookie season. And then also we get to the trade deadline. The trade deadline has been pivotal for the Dallas Mavericks, has made them a completely different team. We know they go out and get PJ Washington, and they also get Daniel Gafford. And I'm going to explain to you guys why this has me fascinated on so many different levels. And I want to start with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. And this just made me look at the game of basketball completely different, because it shows you how skilled each and every, I think it's 460 plus 400 players in the NBA. All of these guys are super good, and it just depends on what environment, what personnel is around you. Because I'm not going to say that I thought PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford I'm not going to say I thought these guys were bad players, but we know what teams that they came from. They came from the Washington Wizards. That's where Daniel Gafford came from. And PJ Washington came from the Charlotte Hornets, two of the worst franchises in the NBA from our current NBA season. So just seeing them guys, just their roles of what they were doing on the teams that they were on when they were bad, and how great these guys have looked when they come to the Dallas Mavericks and the situation that they're in, it just really put basketball in a different perspective to me, that all of these guys can be really good. It just depends on what situation you're in and the morale of your organization. So that really fascinated me, that PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford has been able to come from basically the slums of the NBA and come to the Dallas Mavericks and make a big time difference. And we know they made a big time difference since the trade deadline. I believe the Dallas Mavericks, from the trade deadline to the end of the regular season, they were the number one team in defensive rating. Tim Legler from ESPN, he kept saying that all season long, and then going down to the end of the season, he said it was one of the reasons why he thought that the Dallas Mavericks were the best designed team to take down the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs. But the Nuggets lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves beforehand. So the defense in the second half of the season has been unreal. It's been great in the postseason as well. And I don't really look at postseason defensive rankings, because if you watch basketball, every team defends super well in the postseason. Everybody is going to defend well. It's going to be very hard to get buckets, and it's going to come down to offensive execution. If you watch these playoffs, most of these games have been low scoring, grinded out games, and it comes down to half court execution. So I'm not going to look into their ranking, where they're ranking at in defense in the postseason, because I feel like every team takes things to that level. So big time performance by the Dallas Mavericks on the defensive side of the ball, and it comes from all of these amazing role players that they have. And not only are these role players making life easier on the defensive side of the ball, but I think these guys fit so well. It's so hard to stop this Dallas Mavericks offense. So watching the Dallas Mavericks offensively, it has been like poetry in emotion, and this is in playoff basketball. And we just said this not too long ago that defense is just taken up to a whole new level, and when it's postseason time, and it's been like that since I've been watching basketball. And before I started watching basketball, defense always gets turned up to the next level. And after that series, watching what the Minnesota Timberwolves were able to do to the Denver Nuggets as far as on the defensive side of the ball, it had me saying, and I probably was just a prisoner of the moment, but it did look that crazy, but it had me saying that I thought the postseason was going to come down to who could get more stops than the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I also said that I was excited to see two juggernauts like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic go up against this defense where they're playing super physical defense. They're all in your personal space. So I was like, I can't wait to see how these two walking buckets break down these terrific perimeter defenders, and that's exactly what Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic did. But it goes deeper than their ability to score the basketball and be the best at scoring the basketball in one-on-one ISO situations, pick and roll situations. It goes deeper, and it goes into the personnel that they have, the way that the Dallas Mavericks are able to get into their sets, get into their actions, and they play really simple basketball. They don't run any crazy plays or anything like that. The main objective of the Dallas Mavericks is to spread the floor for Kyrie Irving and Luka and let those guys go to work. You might see them playing one-on-one a lot, or a lot of the time they're running pick and roll actions to get the defense off balance. And that's what the Dallas Mavericks are so great at. They have a great pick and roll player in Luka Doncic who understands the game at an insane level, and now they finally have the right pieces around him to put the cherry on top of his pick and roll game, because Luka, he's exceptional. I believe he's 5 NBA first teams, which is crazy, but his first 2 to 3 years in the NBA, never really no athletic bigs, no athletic wings, nobody to really run the floor with him, nobody to be a consistent rim running threat as far as at the big spot. And now he has 2 of those guys in Dereck Lively and Daniel Gafford, and these guys have been looking like Lob City in the postseason, whether it's Kyrie Irving coming downhill off that 2-man game, whether it's Luka coming downhill off that 2-man game. It just puts so much pressure on the defenders, because it's really a pick your poison situation. You have Luka, who is literally the best scorer in the NBA, 35 points per game. He can score from every single area of the court. So when you running that 2-man game and the person on ball gets clipped, and now it's that big and a 2-on-1 with Luka and Daniel Gafford or Dereck Lively, is literally a pick your poison situation. You have elite lob finishers coming straight at you, and then you have an elite scorer in Luka and Kyrie Irving coming straight at you. So now it's really hard. If that man doesn't get through that screen, it's basically a bucket for the Dallas Mavericks if everyone is staying home. So now what this allows the Dallas Mavericks to do, it allows them to get everyone off balance, because if you're a coach, if you're players, you're not about to watch them just run that 2-man game, and you're not going to watch them slamming on your head the entire game. So now you're going to dare guys to make shots. Now you're going to start rotating down, and now you're going to start leaving guys like PJ Washington wide open. You're going to start leaving Derrick Jones Jr. wide open, Josh Green, and all of these guys wide open. And then also you got to remember, not Kyrie Irving, who has been shooting the 3-ball at the best clip in the playoffs. You're going to be rotating off of him as well, and he's been exceptional knocking down that 3-point shot off the catch this season. So now you have all of this when that 2-man game is at full effect, and you have the defense rotating. You have great passers in Luka and Kyrie that keep that ball moving, and the Dallas Mavericks and Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. He can knock down wide open 3-point shots as well. So now you have these shooters and you have these rim runners around Kyrie Irving and Luka. And Luka, is really nothing you can do to stop them on the offensive side of the ball. You just got to pray that they're not having their way that night and that their shot is not falling. But as we've seen so far in the playoffs, that has not happened. They've been winning these series in great fashion. None of them has gotten into a game 7 yet. So that's been great for the Dallas Mavericks. And they, to me, in my opinion, they just been so terrific on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And the personnel that the Dallas Mavericks has put around Luka and Kyrie, we just got to give them a round of applause, because it's just a beautiful thing on the offensive side of the ball. And then the biggest question for the Dallas Mavericks, were they going to be able to defend at a high level? And they've shown the ability to do that. So it's going to be so fun to watch this series between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. It's such a shame that going back to when the last game ended, got to wait about a week. So we got to wait until June 6th. I believe that's on Thursday. And I will not miss a single second of that game, a single second of that series. And I advise you all to do the same, because I think it's going to be a movie. But nonetheless, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below. Who is your favorite role player from the Dallas Mavericks? It doesn't have to be any of the new additions. It could be somebody like Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell. Let me know down in the comment section, who is your favorite role player on the Dallas Mavericks. But that's going to be it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and then that's curtains.